Hi again.
Hi all.
Another isolation video, another day.
Day 23 or whatever it is.
Basically today another wing is going to be painted, Mustang wing. This is the left Mustang wing, and we paint everything in the mould. So we mask and then we paint straight into the moulds. So here's the right wing that's already been painted. So the top side and the bottom side, the insignia on the bottom side. On the left wing we have the insignia on the top side.
So that's the top side mould.
Yeah, this looks weird. Everything's back to front when you're working in moulds, so being the top side. So we do the masks, we draw it all up on Rhino, everything's scaled and drawn and then gets cut out on the vinyl cutter.
So it's drawn backwards in Rhino.
Yeah.
It's a mirror image.
Mirror image, and because it's going down into the mould, what's going to come out, you will see the other side of the mould. So everything has to be backwards and reversed. So this one was actually, this is a mistake. So you can see the insignia goes here, and this is the, like on this one, you have the red up that end, and this is the silver here. This is supposed to be the silver, so it was put at the wrong end. It's meant to go that way down. So just to give you an idea, so you get the insignia, it's cut out on the vinyl cutter.
So what's vinyl?
Well, actually we don't use vinyl. This stuff that we're using now is proper, what's it called?
Masking film.
Masking film. It's stretchy. You can see how it's got a bit of stretch to it, so that means it conforms.
But it's low tack as well.
Yeah. So you peel out, this is called weeding, you peel out the bits that you don't want, like this, and you can keep those and use for sticking things down. Here we go. And we leave points which will help us line up in the mould. So
points of reference. Which reference what? The various panel lines, or
it'll be a line or a panel, so that we get things lined up to where we need it to go into the mould. So that's what is going to go down. Well, not this one, because I said this was a botched one, but if it does, so then we use a carrier film, because it's got all different cutouts in it. Where are we? I'll show you this wing here. That's what this is going to be. So we have the red in the centre, the white and the blue. So all this is cut.
so this bit you peeled away
Yep.
is actually the red.
That's right. That bit there is going to be this red here. Then there's the silver border. Then we've got the insignia blue, the white, and you've got the red centres.
Which is a different red to the tip red.
Yeah, it is. So there's quite a lot going on. So, and we also, in the top side, we have the fuel cap filler, which is like that. So we paint that red at the same time. So that gets masked off separately. We like to use this just plastic sheet. It's left over from when we do our bagging. Used to use paper, but that just rips so easily. Every time you put it down, you get little tears and that. So I found this plastic. This works brilliantly. So it's just old plastic we use. It just covers the whole lot up. You can just cut a little window in it. If you wanted to mask something, you just put the plastic over the lot, cut a little window, and just tape it down around it, and it just stops any bleeding at all, which is excellent. So after we've weeded out everything that all around the part that we're going to do, we get this carrier film, and again this is a low tack, so we just rip off a sheet of that and we lay it down.
Just do a little tip.
Okay, I'll just cut a piece off. So just this, for example. So
Well, hang on, show us what's underneath. So this is the backing of the vinyl,
Yep.
and this is the vinyl on top, sticky side down.
And so we just put the carrier film, it just gets pressed down all over it, so everything.
So that keeps all your vinyl bits, which are all separate, all cut up,
I'm looking for a card.
in registry with each other.
And when we've got the carrier film, press it down hard, and then we just peel all this off. It's a little bit rough. Like that.
Get the idea.
You get the idea. And you lift up your whole piece, and then that gets stuck down into your mould. Use like an old card, press it all down neatly, and when that's all laid down in your mould, you then just peel your carrier film off, and yeah, not like that. you peel it off, and it leaves it all like that.
You end up with this.
I'll get that one out of the way, and you end up with it all down, all the layers already in there.
What's the blue tape for?
Because we've got a lot of detail in the mould, like for example these strakes, which I'll show you on this finish.
Top side.
Oops. Oh, they both got it, but you see there's probably like 2 mils sticking up, which means that in the mould it goes down into that about 2 mils. So if you just put a mask straight across that, there's going to be a lot of bleed.
Bit of that stuff.
Bit of this. Oh, this is the stuff we peeled out. Yeah, so if you just masked across that, like that, or across the... There's going to be a lot of blowback underneath it. So to get rid of that, you just take a really sharp knife, and I just slit it. We just slit it down. This isn't a really sharp knife. Slit it down like that. You just press that down into it, and then get a piece of the blue tape down either side, and again just press it right down into it so that you don't get any bleed. You know, just to push all this down. So all these areas where the blue tape is, we've got a lot of quite heavy detail. You can probably see that, and it's being pushed right down into it. And you can get bleeds and blowback around all this detail. The detail's fabulous, but when it comes to painting, it's a real pain in the bum. It takes ages to just make sure that every little bit is pressed down hard. And also sometimes you can get little gaps where the vinyl's been cut. You can get like a...
It shrinks apart. So.
Yeah, like maybe like a 1/2 or 1/4 mil. And if you're doing red, and for example like a strong colour, and you've just got the tiniest little gap between it, you can get this little shadow of a
pin line.
Yeah, and it looks really horrible. So again, you have to go around. I just use scraps of this and just cover up the edges.
Because you put down the one mask with all the detail, like the star, the bars, all in one
go, all goes down.
One mask, and
Yep.
then you just peel out the bits that you're about to paint, which is totally different to painting outside. How would that work if you're painting lozenge?
Well, that's why we're quite excited to do that, because we'll just put the one mask down. It'll have the cutouts for like 5 different colours. Then we will peel out, say, the yellow. We'll paint the yellow. Then you peel out the pink. You paint the pink, and then you peel out the, the blue. And if you overspray the yellow, which went down first, it doesn't matter, because it's the back. It's the inside of the mould.
So how do you peel out this bit of mask?
Okay, so it's a little bit confusing because this wing has 2 different types of red. So we've got the main...
Other side.
Oh no, we've got it here. So we've got the main red here. Oh, if I turn it round, okay. Which is our tip colour. The insignia red is a slightly different colour. Not a lot of difference, but we do use 2 different paints.
Reds aren't reds.
No, reds are not reds. So we've peeled this out already, and And then because this is such a tiny little bit of red, so we'll paint this red, and then if we want to paint this red, all we have to do is peel that bit there off. And I'm going to actually start with this red because it's such a tiny little bit. I'm just going to use the little tiny airbrush, and there will be such a little bit of overspray. There'll be very, very little. So we'll do the inside of the insignia first. If there's the slightest little bit of overspray, it's going on to red.
It's almost red.
And it's not, I'm not going to worry about it for the hassle of sort of doing it. So this will be done first, then it's this red. And then you peel out, what have we got next? The white, so that you'll take out the bars either side of the red, you'll peel those out.
So that will be painted red.
Yeah, that'll already be red.
Then you peel out the white bit.
Peel out the white and the white star, peel all that out.
And you don't have to remask the red bit because this happens.
Yeah, so this was painted red.
So this is the bottom of the left wing.
Yep. So like this here. This is the other side. So the red gets painted first, like that. We had a mask down here where this silver is. That stayed down. Picked out the lettering. That got sprayed black. As soon as that was done, peeled all this back, and it leaves the lettering like that. And then of course all the rest of this wing gets painted silver, and you just spray over the top of the black.
So
and
this overspray of black,
yep, that doesn't,
onto the red.
Yep, little bit of overspray there, little bit of blow. That doesn't matter, because what we do is we lay our cloth down
This
on
is
that.
now the inside of the wing. That's not what you see.
Yeah, we won't see this. When we pop this out,
It'll look like that.
the paint, this is what's gone down into the mould. So whatever the first layer onto the mould is, that's what you see. I know it, it does your head in. It does your head in when you're first trying to do it, because you're working backwards and your lettering is all backwards. So that when
once you get your head round that,
Yep.
it is so much simpler.
it is simple, as long as you just as long as you double check that all your letters are the wrong way. I don't know anyone that would have put a lettering the wrong way round. Do you?
Or an insignia.
Or an insignia, or a star upside down. Who'd do that? No one would do that. It's also with this. It's not clear. It's semi-clear. So once it is down, and we've got blue moulds, it can be quite hard to see.
Why are your moulds blue?
The moulds are blue. This is a tooling gel coat, which just happens to be blue, and that is a hard wearing surface, which means you can pull quite a few copies
And the
out
edges
of it.
don't chip or deteriorate.
Yeah, it's really hard wearing. So that's why it's blue. And yeah, with this sort of almost clear blue on it, can be a little bit hard to see. We used to use plain vinyl on our vinyl colour, like
Lettering, vinyl lettering sort of stuff.
yeah, like for sign making, but it was a bit thick, and when we're going over the top of things like all this really heavy detail, see how you can see it's like a, you know, like a
Injection ports.
half mil, and you get all these. We were
So
getting.
that means there are gun ports at the front.
That means there are gun ports up the front here. Yep, all that. So yeah, the detail's great, but when it comes to painting in the mould, it does make it harder. It takes longer. You've just got to be really spend the time to make sure that everything's cut in and pushed down hard, so that you don't get.
So it's 3:45, Easter 2020. Can you go and paint that now, or is there an issue with that?
No, I've done the two colours on that side. We'll go out and we will do the insignia and the red around the end of that tip on this side, and hopefully we'll get all that done, and then we can spray the silver onto the rest of the wing, and then we are ready to lay up the left wing.
Is that Grant's Mustang?
Okay, do you believe that is Grant from New Zealand? I think, mate, that could be yours in the background. Needs a bit of painting, doesn't it? So that's all the paint. It's a 4-to-1 mix, so just using these really just little 30 ml cups, that's all we use just for that area. And plug the helmet in. So that's the red tip painted. Now I'll go in and pull out all the bits that are going to be painted white and get on with that bit. That's the white down. You can see the overspray, and that doesn't matter when you're painting inside the mould. So now we'll peel out all the insignia blue bits and get that painted. So there's the mask for the blue pulled out. It's a little bit sticky doing that because it's covered in paint. But yeah, all the mask around the white, and now it's just ready for the blue, the insignia blue, to be sprayed on that. And that is the insignia blue down. Now to peel off the mask where the silver's going, and that might have to wait until tomorrow. Get all the silver down on both wings, and that's left wing, top and bottom, ready to lay out then. So the good news is that the blue, the insignia blue's down. Now I've just had some disaster happened that's never happened before. I have my helmet sitting there, and I don't know how it happened, but the helmet and the cord have fallen, the helmet's fallen down off there. I had a little cup of thinners sitting here. It has come tumbling down off there. It's landed on the thinners, tipped the cup over, and it's splashed thinners up, and it's landed on here, and it has run all the way down there. It's dissolved the blue and it's run. I have absolutely no idea what is going to happen under that. Just going to leave it, and it's going to have to be touched up on the outside. I've never had a disaster like that happen before, but yeah, things like that happen. I can see a gap. A couple of gaps there in the blue, so when the silver gets sprayed, that's going to fill that. It could be a bit of touch up on the outside, yeah, but it's not worth stripping the whole lot off and remasking. I'm going to go with it, and looks like there might be some fixing up to do on the outside. So there you go, these things happen. So it's a bit late now to do all the rest of the silver. That'll be done tomorrow. So yeah, onwards. Now, after second thoughts, we had a look at it, and it wasn't worth it. All the masking that would have, all the touch up that would have been required on the outside, we decided we'd just strip it off. So I've just poured thinners into it and wipe the whole thing clean, and we'll go again. We hadn't even put the silver down yet, so basically here we go again. So we'll re-wax, remask, and start again. Yep, like I said, never had this happen before, so we'll do take 2.
good.
We're a little bit out at the bottom.
So to date we've had 2 egg collections
Look at that.
and 7 embryo samples. The logistics to support the goods 10 times higher for a remote field. Our local process study clinic is
I'm going to leave. And there weren't gaps in this, so I'm not going to worry about.
Up to 6 hours, sometimes further. We just enter the process for WA so that might out to further garden, even for blood.
The bottom sides had the silver put on and redid. Hey bird. And then redid the top side, remasked it and went again, still has to have the silver on, basically nearly ready to go. Waiting for some food, bird.